Howdy Wildcats, Ben Darden here, and want to go over what you need to know about a potential quarantine that we might have to go into here at Sagewood. As I mentioned, we're one of two middle schools as of right now that has not had to go into a quarantine with a cohort or the whole school. But our luck has been good so far. We'll see if it can keep going that way. But the couple of situations that you need to know of is if we had a positive case of COVID here, there's a couple situations. One, if it was a staff member or a student, obviously we then work with our nurse, Amy, with doing contact tracing to identify who was impacted, who was exposed. And right now in classrooms, that's anybody that was in the same class with that student or that staff member. If it's only adults in the room, really best practice is that continued, be at least 6 feet apart, maintain that social distancing if you are in the same room with each other, and keep your masks on. Honestly, that is the biggest way and to avoid us having to quarantine a bunch of adults, which has happened at other schools. And so please make sure you're doing that. Thank you guys for doing that. I know it's hard, and so unless you're eating or drinking, thanks for keeping those masks on and keeping that social distance. And so that may mean you need to locate to a different room if you guys can't keep that social distance all in the same room. So if we have a student or staff member, they are exposed or they're that person who's positive, we do the contact tracing to identify how many students, how many other staff members are involved. Typically what we're seeing is in other schools where this has happened, it's one cohort that's probably impacted. And so those students would be notified as far as who is having to stay home from the district. The district sends out those letters. And then we would notify you as staff as far as if you have to be quarantined as well. So if you're quarantined and you're able to teach from home, which if you can teach from home, you don't have to use a personal day. You don't have to use any of your COVID sick time. We would just put a person in your classroom if we still have people who are here in person to be able to teach your class from home. We've already had that happen with a couple of our teachers. So that's the best case. And then what we would do is we would place a Chromebook in your room so that you could join that. We have a login that we'll log into those devices on, and then we would grab those Google Meet codes, log in, so that the students who maybe are still here, because it's possible not all of the kids would have to be quarantined, because not if one kid's positive, they may not expose every other kid in their pod. So there may be some kids who are still in person, and so you would teach from a Google Meet from home to those kids. If you're a teacher who is teaching here in the building still to kids who are quarantined from home, similar to what I just said, we'll place a Chromebook in your classroom and we'll have a login for that already. And then we'll just need to have a Google Meet for those kids who are at home to join your live in-person class from home. And so somewhat of a virtual balcony would be happening for those kids where, again, they may not have access to everything that you're doing in the class, but the main thing is giving them access to that live instruction that you're doing in the classroom with those kids so that they have the opportunity to not miss those days. And then the other days are still these asynchronous at-home days. So if they're an A cohort, they'll join your class live via the Google Meet Monday and Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, they would still be doing the asynchronous work that you're assigning them from school. So, and Friday would still be the same schedule that we have right now on Fridays. And so typically what we're seeing is these quarantines are lasting a couple weeks. If we were to go full remote, we are prepared for that as well, but it would be a shift obviously to being full-time at home. And so the schedule right now that we're looking at would be following our still same bell schedule, but all cohorts, A and B cohort, would be combined from home on those days. So you would have Monday through Thursday as opposed to every other day. We would have live synchronous instruction for those 4 days. And then right now, the plan would be to still have that Friday schedule similar to what we have right now, although that may be something we look at tweaking after getting some feedback from teachers. So anyway, that is what our schedule would look like. But what you need to know is we will notify you if there's an issue, if there's a quarantine of your students and you're not impacted. We will also notify you if you are quarantined. And then we'll have a laptop set up for you here at school so you can teach those classes remotely from home. If you're not able to teach those classes remotely from home, then obviously we would need sub plans from you and you have to have a sub in that classroom to implement those plans. So just wanted to give you guys some of the information so that you have it. I'll include some of that here as well, but I know that this is something that is on a lot of people's minds of what's this going to look like. And again, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is if this happens, it's not a crisis. You know, we've prepared for this. We have a process, we have a procedure in place that has worked really well and smooth at a lot of their schools in the district. And so I get, you know, having a positive case here at school, there's a lot of anxiety with that, and a lot of us may see things, you know, from different perspectives. But we're going to take care of each other. We're going to provide support, and things will be communicated really clearly to make sure that you know what your role is, how you're impacted. And obviously, please reach out to me if you have any questions directly. So that's it for now. That's what we would be looking at if we have a quarantine. So enjoy your weekend.